Hello everyone, thank you for joining me. This is Michael Voss, Dragon of the Southern Tier. I'm happy to be here with you today on No Soundbites Allowed. I want to take a moment because I want to talk about something that's exciting, that's been going on, that has nothing to do with COVID-19. Thank God. Let's move past that. And what it does have to do with is the 2020 presidential election. Now, if you've been following No Soundbites Allowed consistently for the last 2 years, you've probably heard me talk about the 2020 presidential election and my predictions for the 2020 election. Most notably, in October of 2018, I came out and I told everyone, and I predicted and showed why the Democratic Party was going to be making the entire 2020 election about identity politics, and that I had expected at that time one of 3 women who were in the race were going to be president and vice president. Of those women, we have Kamala Harris. And I updated this because back in December of 2019, I believe it was December 3rd of 2019, I had an article on Kamala Harris addressing the fact that she had dropped out of the presidential race, mostly because she had, I think, 3.5% support among Democrats, and the fact that in December, the identity politics of being black and a woman were not strong enough to be a presidential frontrunner. At that time, the possibility of being gay and white was much more important, or possibly being a socialist was much more important, in referencing Pete Buttigieg and Bernie Sanders, respectively. But the vice presidential bid, now that was still wide open. And at the time, in December of 2019, I said, you're going to see Kamala Harris be the vice president. And the only reason she's going to be picked is because she's black and she's a woman. Mind you, I know she's not black in the sense of what we think of African American. She's black in the color of her skin, and she's actually from, I believe, Indian descent, which, quite honestly, I don't care about. It doesn't matter what your descent is. You're an American or you're not an American. And if you're running for president or vice president, you have to be an American. That's what I think should be the emphasis. But that is not the emphasis of the Democratic Party. Instead, they're emphasizing the politics, the gender identity politics that will, they hope, allow them to win in a race. Throwing out all of the things that are important, like qualifications, actual records and histories, success and failures, all of that's on the wayside. They're going for, well, she's black and she's a woman, and therefore that's good enough. Because right now, especially in a world that has been driven crazy by BLM, Black Lives Matter, and Progressive Leaders of Tomorrow, Plot, and Antifa, when a world is upside down and we have the Chaz or the CHOP in Seattle, the autonomous zone, where we have non-stop riots going across the nation and looting to go with it, when we're watching more black people get killed due to rioters and looting, and that all being blamed on white cops, when we're in that kind of an environment, the Democratic Party and the progressives of the Democratic Party are far more focused on identity politics than actual solutions. They're not looking for solutions. They're looking for emotion and to put up and pander to people based on those emotions to get the political gain they want. That's the way I read it. You may say, Mike, you're missing something. I don't think I am. That's not the politics. Now, we knew for a fact that back in 2018, Democrats had positioned their entire party on the idea of being progressive to socialist, being about women and the color of skin. Not the qualifications, just that. With the exceptions of Bernie Sanders as a socialist, with the exception of Pete Buttigieg as a gay man, Cory Booker as a black man, and as the default answer, you had Joe Biden. Well, here we are. So I think it's really interesting. And I really recommend people go back to the mvoss.com website, look up my December 3rd, 2019 article on Kamala Harris, or just putting Kamala Harris into the search bar and search for it. You'll see the 2019 article where I go over what is her chances of becoming the vice president. And I said it then, and I'll say it now. She is the woman. I know people said Stacey Abrams. Not going to happen. She has no record. She has no success. She doesn't look good enough. And yes, that is a factor in our election, both for men and women. She's too abrasive, and she has no record to speak of. She has nothing to stand for. And she's not supported well enough. Not even in her own state. She lost in her own state. How's she going to win anywhere else? That's like saying that Beto O'Rourke, who lost to Ted Cruz, who lost to President Trump, was a great candidate for presidency. And at one point, we did hear Democrats say that. And it was absolutely insane. The guy, his claim to fame was he lost to the guy who lost to President Trump. Therefore, he should run against President Trump. That was a stupid idea. He lost. The same thing goes for Stacey Abrams. She lost. She's a loser. This doesn't make her vice presidential material just because she lost. It doesn't work that way. That's not what politics is like. No matter what the pipe dream by progressives may be and socialists may be, that's not how America works. You have to have some kind of success. You have to have a track record, a positive one of some sort, to run for the presidency. Even Obama, who had no real, he was basically an empty suit. He had no real success, had at least won races, and therefore he got elected president. But let's focus back on what's going on here. We see Stacey Abrams is out. She's not a choice. She's not even being considered by Vice President Biden, as no one seriously expected her to have a chance. But Amy Klobuchar did have a chance. But she couldn't possibly get it. Not because she isn't a senator, not because she isn't popular, partially because the George Floyd incident is attached to her name. And in the world of Black Lives Matter and Progressive Leaders of Tomorrow and Antifa, that makes her a devil. Forget the fact that she's a progressive or a woman. But she couldn't do it. And I'll tell you, the quite honest answer is the biggest reason why Amy Klobuchar couldn't possibly be vice president and, God forbid, president, she's white. And especially at this point in 2020, that means she can't possibly do it. The Democratic Party doesn't forgive that unless you are an old, rich, white male. And if you look at the Democratic Party, you look at the presidential candidates, you look at the candidates who are leading at the end and who is in now, old, rich, white male. That's what they're going for. Doesn't matter what they say, doesn't matter what their slogans are, that's the reality. And to further distract people from the fact that they are a party of old, rich, white government fixtures in the government. And when I say fixtures of the government, what? Biden's been in the government and in charge of Congress and or the vice presidency 37 years. Nancy Pelosi, 44 years. Chuck Schumer, I believe, was 42 years. You can go down the line. They have decades upon decades of being in government and not addressing any of the issues that are going on. They didn't fix anything. I don't know why people think they're going to fix it now, but they never have. So to take away from the fact that these are government fixtures that created the problems we are dealing with now, that are exactly the opposite of what the Democratic Party constantly preaches to us. The only distraction to that is, well, we're going to, as Joe Biden said, as he insulted the entire black culture by saying, if you don't vote Democrat, you're not black. That's insulting. You don't have a choice because you're black. You don't get a choice. You don't have free will. Under the Democrats, under Joe Biden, you have no free will. You must vote for a Democrat or you are not truly black and therefore you don't count. That is insulting. I'm never going to forget that he said that, amongst the many other things that he has said over his career in elected office. But to distract from all this, he promised he was going to pick a black woman, not a qualified person, not the best progressive, the best socialist, the best whatever criteria, actual qualification. No, he picked a black woman. So if there is a better Hispanic woman, if there is a better Asian woman, if there is a better man of whatever color or sex or persuasion, it doesn't matter, because they will not get the vice presidential nomination, because it must go to a woman who has to be black. Because checkbox, identity politics. That's it. And when you think of it in that way, and when you realize and understand that's what they're saying, it's not important if this is the best person. This is the best check on the box. This is the best category. And this is the best distraction from the problems that their candidate has. When you understand that, you should be angry. And you don't have to be a member of Black Lives Matter. You don't have to be a socialist or progressive, like Progressive Leaders of Tomorrow, otherwise known as Plot or Antifa. If you're just a regular person, you should be upset with that. You should be exceptionally upset with that. So yeah, I think it's going to be, again, as I have consistently said, vice presidential candidate, Kamala Harris. And I've been saying it not just today, not just because Amy Klobuchar is gone. I've been saying that since 2018, because the politics of the Democratic Party at this point, the progressive and socialist ideals they are trying to promote, are that predictable, and they are that much of a failure. But I'd like to hear what you have to think. Please tell me. You can reach me at mvoss.com. You can make comments at Voss Political Commentary on Facebook. You can reach out to me on MV Consult on Twitter, or you can call, or you can leave a text at 607-242-1582. I am looking forward to hearing your thoughts. Tell me, do you think I'm right? Do you think I'm wrong? Did you think I got it wrong in 2018 and realize that I'm right today? Did you think I got it wrong in 2019 and you see I'm right today? Or do you think I'm still wrong? I want to hear your thoughts. I look forward to it, and I want you all to be very well.